Good day. My name is Lance Reese, and I'll be walking through my leadership response as the incident commander during a chlorine gas release event at Catchings Poultry Processing located in Catchings, Texas. I will cover what occurred, the actions I took to control the situation, how I led the response team, and the key lessons learned from the incident. On August 18th, 2022, at approximately 12:30 p.m., I was on duty as the incident commander when I received notification of a chlorine leak inside the facility. At midday, the plant was operating at full capacity with approximately 400 employees actively working on or on lunch breaks. Within moments of receiving the leak notification, I began initiating my initial response actions, along with my two other safety team members. When the call came in, I immediately recognized the seriousness of the situation. It was a chlorine gas leak used in our facility to treat the water for food sanitation purposes. Due to our recent safety training, our team knew that chlorine gas is a toxic inhalation hazard, and early control is critical to prevent escalation. Based on this initial hazard recognition, I referenced established emergency guidance, using the emergency response guidebook to support isolation distances and protective action decisions. I understood that chlorine exposure can occur quickly, and that conditions can deteriorate rapidly if not controlled. Due to possible afternoon storm conditions, it was imperative to isolate and manage the incident as efficiently as possible. I immediately shifted into emergency response mindset and asked, is anyone already exposed? Are we controlling movement? Are we stopping the leak itself? These questions guided my initial actions and ensured a focused response. My first priority during all this was life safety of all employees. Based on that assessment, I implemented our emergency action plan and moved directly into protective actions. I initiated a controlled evacuation to designated muster points located upwind and on higher ground away from low-lying areas where chlorine gas could accumulate. My other team member responsible for this action quickly worked with supervisors and employees to ensure accountability. Our safety personnel and team worked with department leads to verify all personnel were accounted for at the designated muster points. Second, once full personnel accountability was verified, the focus shifted to controlling the hazard itself. All actions were guided by a continuous risk-based approach, balancing responder safety with the urgency of this control of hazard. I directed the shutdown of non-essential equipment to reduce movement and minimize exposure risk. Immediately after the leak, I called the county fire department and the county sheriff. I also called our third-party hazmat cleanup team who was arriving from Austin. We then transitioned to establishing these control zones and restricted access to personnel equipped with appropriate respiratory protection. We initiated real-time monitoring to track chlorine movement and guide decisions based on actual conditions. I also ensured engineering safety systems were functioning properly and coordinated with emergency services to access potential impact beyond the facility and any impact to the town itself. Thirdly, in a small town environment, I recognize the emotional impact on area families concerned about their loved ones who work at our plant. Outgoing communication was calm, clear, and reassuring. The media arrived quickly, so I designated a single point of contact to assure accurate and consistent messaging with the situation at hand. My third and final team member spoke to the media and families on behalf of the plant and said that employees were evacuated safely from the building to the designated muster area, located on higher ground and upwind from any danger. Due to the distance from the plant to the community itself, the decision was made that school, homes, and businesses were in no danger. Managing the incident required coordination across multiple teams. The supervisors handled accountability, responders focused on containment, safety personnel monitored conditions. Emergency services supported community protection. It was important that each team had a defined role, and maintaining coordination ensured an effective response. I maintained clear communication and defined responsibilities from the very beginning and ensured that all the teams working during this incident, from evacuation to containment to coordinating the cleanup, was aligned at every step of the way. I also remained visible and composed, reinforcing confidence and stability. Throughout the event, I made informed decisions with limited information, relying on training and continuous real-time assessment. All management relayed details with walkie-talkies and company cell phones. As conditions improved and controls took effect, we transitioned into containment and recovery. Through coordinated action, the leak was contained. Following containment, we transitioned into controlled cleanup and decontamination operations once the hazmat team arrived. Only trained personnel equipped with appropriate respiratory and chemical protective equipment were permitted to enter the affected areas. Based on the known behavior of chlorine, we ensured that no water was applied directly to the release, as chlorine reacts with moisture to form corrosive acids and can only worsen the hazard. The system was isolated and managed through controlled ventilation to remove any residual gas. With this continuous air monitoring, it was maintained to verify that the chlorine concentrations were reduced to safe levels before any re-entry. Leak verification and final clearance were conducted using approved detection methods, ensuring that no residual hazard remained prior to full operational recovery. In addition, any potentially exposed personnel were evaluated and medically monitored, recognizing that this chlorine exposure could possibly result in delayed respiratory effects. Following containment and cleanup, re-entry was controlled and based on verified safe conditions. At approximately 3 p.m., a decision was made by upper management, collaboration with the safety team and the hazmat team, to suspend operations for the remainder of the day. Employees were told to return the following morning for their usual shift. Most importantly, there were no injuries or fatalities. At the end of the day, everyone was able to go home to their families. When I reflect on this incident, several key lessons stand out. That preparation drives performance, communication drives outcomes, leadership presence matters, and that verification is critical. This experience reinforced the importance of continuous training because real incidents rarely unfold exactly as planned or according to a textbook. Most importantly, early decisions in the first few minutes have the greatest impact. The incidents reinforced that effective leadership is both technical and human. Moving forward, I will continue strengthening training, improving communication, and reinforcing accountability. In closing, this incident demonstrated that effective leadership is not defined by the absence of risk, but how decisively and responsibly that risk is managed. As incident commander, my responsibility was to protect life from the very beginning, stabilize the situation, and lead with clarity under pressure. And in this case, those actions ensured a successful outcome.